The American restaurant landscape is undergoing a quiet revolution that most diners haven't fully recognized yet. While we debate the latest food trends and celebrate new openings, a different story unfolds in strip malls and suburban dining districts across the nation. Iconic chains that once anchored our weekend plans and family traditions are slowly disappearing from view, not through dramatic headlines or sudden bankruptcies, but through a gradual retreat that leaves empty storefronts where memories were made. These aren't the flashy closures that dominate business news. Instead, they represent a methodical downsizing as beloved brands struggle to adapt to changing tastes, rising costs, and shifting cultural preferences. Today, we're examining 9 restaurant chains that face an uncertain future, each fighting different battles but all heading toward the same troubling destination. By 2026, these familiar names may exist only as nostalgic reminders of dining experiences that shaped entire generations. Number 9. TGI Fridays. The restaurant that once captured the essence of casual celebration has become a shadow of its former glory, operating with the hollow enthusiasm of a party that ended years ago, while the decorations remain stubbornly in place. What began as the pioneering casual dining concept has devolved into an increasingly irrelevant brand, struggling to justify its existence in a marketplace filled with competitors who execute similar concepts with greater authenticity and modern appeal. The fundamental problem facing TGI Fridays extends beyond simple operational challenges to encompass a complete disconnect between brand identity and contemporary dining preferences. Younger demographics view the theatrical service style and over-the-top atmosphere as dated rather than entertaining, while older customers who built their loyalty during the chain's heyday find themselves disappointed by experiences that no longer match their cherished memories. The signature cocktail program that once differentiated Fridays from generic competitors has been simplified to basic preparations that eliminate the flair demonstrations and creative presentations that originally attracted crowds seeking entertainment alongside their meals. Location closures have accelerated dramatically across major metropolitan markets, leaving remaining restaurants feeling isolated and struggling to maintain the critical mass necessary for the energetic atmosphere that defined the brand experience. Many longtime customers discover their preferred locations have shuttered without warning, arriving at familiar addresses to find darkened windows and corporate notices explaining abrupt operational cessations. The unpredictable nature of these closures has created uncertainty among remaining patrons who no longer trust that their local Fridays will survive from season to season. Menu pricing has reached levels that make the dining experience feel overpriced relative to food quality and service standards, while happy hour promotions that once packed restaurants during crucial revenue periods have been scaled back to generic offerings that fail to generate excitement or drive repeat visits. The loaded appetizers and signature entrees taste reformulated with cheaper ingredients that fundamentally alter the flavor profiles customers expect from familiar menu items, creating disappointment that spreads through word-of-mouth recommendations. Number 8. Olive Garden. The chain that once represented the pinnacle of accessible Italian dining for American families now faces mounting pressures that threaten its position as the dominant player in casual Italian cuisine. While still maintaining substantial market presence, underlying trends suggest a brand struggling to maintain relevance as dining preferences evolve and competition intensifies from both independent restaurants and newer chain concepts that offer more authentic or innovative approaches to Italian food. The unlimited breadsticks and endless salad programs that built customer loyalty have become sources of operational strain rather than competitive advantages. Kitchen timing issues mean breadsticks frequently arrive cold or stale, while salad quality has declined to the point where the famous accompaniment feels like an afterthought rather than a valued menu component. Butter portions have shrunk to tiny packets that barely cover single breadsticks, while lettuce appears wilted and toppings seem sparse in ways that suggest cost-cutting measures have affected even the most basic offerings. Portion sizes that once seemed impossibly generous now arrive looking modest on oversized plates, creating the illusion of abundance while delivering substantially less food than previous visits provided. Menu prices have climbed steadily upward while ingredient quality has moved in the opposite direction, creating value perception problems that affect customer loyalty across all demographic segments. The pasta dishes that built the brand reputation now taste mass-produced rather than individually prepared, while sauce applications seem inconsistent and often insufficient to provide the rich flavors that customers expect from specialized Italian establishments. Wait times have become legendary for all the wrong reasons, as reservation systems struggle to manage capacity effectively during peak dining periods. Hostess stations are often understaffed, while slowed dining room turnover creates cascading delays that affect every aspect of the customer experience. The family-friendly atmosphere that once made Olive Garden the natural choice for celebrations and gatherings now feels forced rather than genuine, as service training has been reduced to basic order taking instead of the warm hospitality that originally set the brand apart from its competitors. Number 7. IHOP. The International House of Pancakes faces an identity crisis that extends far beyond the controversial name change publicity stunt that highlighted management's apparent disconnection from core customer values. Rising food costs have transformed breakfast dining from an affordable family activity into a luxury experience that many households can no longer justify, particularly when grocery store alternatives provide similar satisfaction at a fraction of restaurant pricing. The pancake stacks that once seemed impossibly generous now arrive with fewer individual pancakes per serving, while syrup portions have been reduced to small containers that barely provide adequate coverage for complete meals. Kitchen execution has become increasingly inconsistent, as staffing reductions create preparation bottlenecks during peak breakfast hours, resulting in pancakes that arrive unevenly cooked and eggs that frequently fail to meet basic preparation standards. Coffee service has deteriorated to the point where brewing equipment appears poorly maintained and refill service becomes sporadic during busy periods. Menu pricing has increased substantially while breakfast portion sizes have decreased, creating value perception issues that drive families toward competitors offering better deals on similar morning meal options. The 24-hour service that once provided competitive advantages for shift workers and late-night diners has been eliminated at numerous locations, removing revenue streams that helped sustain operations during slower periods, while disappointing customers who relied on around-the-clock availability. Marketing campaigns have focused on gimmicks and attention-grabbing stunts, rather than addressing fundamental operational problems that affect daily customer experiences across the chain network. The family-friendly positioning that made them valuable for weekend gatherings and special occasion breakfasts now feels undermined by service inconsistencies and pricing structures that make home preparation seem more appealing than restaurant dining. Limited operating hours at many locations have pushed away customers who valued flexible meal timing, while reduced staffing creates service bottlenecks during remaining operational periods that affect order accuracy and customer satisfaction levels. Number 6. Outback Steakhouse. The Australian-themed steakhouse that once rode the wave of casual dining's golden era now finds itself swimming against currents that threaten to pull the entire concept underwater. What seemed like an unshakable formula during the 1990s and early 2000s has revealed fundamental weaknesses as dining preferences shift toward experiences that feel more authentic and less theatrical in their cultural appropriations. The bloomin' onion that once served as the chain's signature calling card now feels like an expensive indulgence that customers increasingly view as unnecessary given portion sizes that seem designed more for social media posts than actual consumption. Kitchen operations struggle with preparation timing that leaves the famous appetizer arriving either undercooked with raw centers or overcooked with burnt exterior layers that mask the flavors customers expect from the premium-priced starter. The accompanying dipping sauce has been reformulated multiple times, creating inconsistencies that vary between locations and even between different shifts at the same restaurant. Steak quality has become the most glaring weakness in a concept built entirely around meat preparation expertise. Prime cuts that once justified higher price points now arrive with marbling patterns that suggest lower-grade beef, while cooking techniques produce results that range from acceptable to completely inedible depending on kitchen staff experience levels. The signature seasonings taste generic rather than distinctive, eliminating flavor profiles that once differentiated Outback steaks from competitors offering similar cuts at comparable price points. Overhead costs associated with maintaining the elaborate interior theming have become unsustainable as foot traffic declines and average check sizes fail to keep pace with operational expenses. The boomerangs, didgeridoos, and Australian memorabilia that once created immersive dining environments now feel dated and culturally insensitive to demographics that value authenticity over stereotypical representations. Maintenance costs for these decorative elements consume resources that might otherwise support food quality improvements or service training programs. Service standards have declined as experienced servers migrate toward establishments offering better earning potential through higher customer turnover rates and more generous tipping patterns. The lengthy meal preparation times that steakhouses require create table turnover challenges that affect server income potential, leading to staffing shortages during peak dining periods when customer patience runs thin, waiting for properly prepared entrees. Number 5. Hooters. The restaurant concept that built its identity around provocative marketing and sports bar atmosphere now faces cultural headwinds that make its core positioning increasingly problematic for contemporary dining preferences. Younger demographics view the brand concept as outdated and potentially offensive, while traditional customer bases have aged out or shifted toward establishments that offer superior food quality without controversial service elements. The wings that supposedly justify the restaurant visits have never achieved the quality standards necessary to compete with specialized wing establishments that focus exclusively on preparation techniques and sauce varieties. Kitchen operations rely heavily on frozen products and simplified preparation methods that produce results inferior to competitors who invest in fresh ingredients and skilled cooking staff. Sauce selections remain limited compared to dedicated wing restaurants, while preparation consistency varies dramatically between locations and individual cooks. Cultural conversations around workplace environment and employee treatment have created negative associations that affect customer comfort levels and brand perception among potential diners. Many locations struggle to maintain adequate staffing as qualified candidates seek employment opportunities that offer more professional working conditions and career advancement potential. The service model that once attracted certain demographic segments now creates operational challenges as societal attitudes evolve and customer expectations change. Sports viewing experiences have been undermined by poor audio system management and screen positioning that makes following games difficult from many seating areas. Television programming seems haphazardly managed with important sporting events frequently unavailable, while screens display less popular content that fails to create the energetic atmosphere sports fans seek. Draft beer selections have been reduced to generic options rather than craft beer varieties that might attract customers seeking premium beverage experiences during game-watching sessions. Marketing campaigns that once generated attention through controversy now create public relations problems that drive away potential customers, rather than attracting new business. Social media presence has become liability rather than asset, as brand messaging struggles to navigate contemporary cultural sensitivities while maintaining connection with traditional customer bases. Number 4. California Pizza Kitchen. The upscale pizza concept that once felt innovative and sophisticated now appears trapped between casual dining expectations and fast casual execution standards that leave customers questioning value propositions and dining experience quality. Bankruptcy proceedings have created operational uncertainties that affect everything from supplier relationships to employee morale, while mall location dependencies expose the chain to retail industry challenges beyond restaurant-specific problems. The gourmet pizza preparations that originally differentiated CPK from traditional pizza establishments now compete directly with numerous artisanal pizza concepts that execute similar ideas with greater authenticity and fresher ingredients. Menu pricing has reached levels that make casual pizza dining feel like fine dining investment, while food quality fails to justify premium costs relative to independent pizzerias, offering superior products at comparable price points. Signature pizzas taste reformulated with cheaper ingredients that fundamentally alter flavor profiles customers remember from previous visits. Mall locations that once provided steady foot traffic and convenient parking now feel isolated as retail centers struggle with anchor store closures and declining shopper visits. Many CPK locations find themselves operating in nearly empty shopping centers, where surrounding businesses have shuttered, creating atmospheric problems that make dining feel depressing rather than enjoyable. Lease obligations for these declining mall spaces consume resources while generating insufficient revenue to justify operational costs. Kitchen equipment designed for pizza preparation requires specialized maintenance and skilled operators, creating operational complexities that many locations struggle to manage effectively. Oven temperatures fluctuate, creating inconsistent crust textures, while topping distributions appear careless rather than carefully crafted. The California-style thin crust that defined the brand identity often arrives either undercooked with soggy centers or overcooked with burnt edges that make consumption difficult. Service training has been reduced to basic order taking as experienced staff migrate toward establishments offering better working conditions and advancement opportunities. The upscale casual positioning requires service standards that exceed typical pizza restaurant expectations, but staffing budgets and training programs fail to support the hospitality levels that justify menu pricing structures. Number 3. Red Lobster. The seafood chain that once represented special occasion dining for countless American families has emerged from bankruptcy proceedings more damaged than ever, facing supply chain disruptions and operational challenges that make consistent quality impossible to maintain across remaining locations. What was supposed to be America's accessible gateway to quality seafood has become a cautionary tale about how financial mismanagement can destroy even the most established dining concepts. The endless shrimp promotions that drove the chain toward bankruptcy continue to haunt operations as corporate decision-makers struggle to develop sustainable pricing strategies that attract customers without generating catastrophic losses. Menu engineering efforts focus entirely on cost reduction rather than rebuilding the seafood quality standards that once justified premium pricing structures. Lobster portions have shrunk, while preparation methods rely increasingly on pre-cooked frozen products that eliminate the fresh seafood experience customers expect from specialized establishments. Crab legs arrive dry and lacking the sweet meat that seafood enthusiasts seek, while fish preparations taste generic rather than distinctive. Kitchen operations have been simplified to accommodate inexperienced staff, but these changes have eliminated specialized preparation techniques that once made Red Lobster offerings superior to grocery store seafood counters. The famous Cheddar Bay biscuits remain inconsistent, with some visits producing warm, fluffy accompaniments, while other experiences deliver cold, dense alternatives that bear little resemblance to the signature items customers remember. Vendor relationships. Damaged during bankruptcy proceedings, create supply chain problems that affect menu availability and ingredient quality. Many suppliers now demand payment guarantees that strain cash flow, while others have terminated contracts entirely, forcing remaining locations to source products from secondary suppliers who cannot match previous quality standards. These disruptions create menu inconsistencies where signature dishes may be unavailable or prepared with substitute ingredients that fundamentally alter expected flavors. Franchise operators face mounting pressures as corporate support systems remain unstable following reorganization efforts. Many locations operate with uncertainty about long-term viability that affects staff morale and service consistency. The upscale seafood positioning that once attracted celebration dinners and special occasions now feels undermined by operational chaos and quality control problems that make dining experiences unpredictable rather than memorable. Number 2. Applebee's. The neighborhood grill that once dominated suburban dining landscapes now struggles with an identity crisis that has left the brand feeling disconnected from every demographic it attempts to serve. What was designed to be America's neighborhood gathering place has evolved into a generic operation that fails to provide compelling reasons for customers to choose Applebee's over numerous alternatives, offering better food quality, superior service, or more attractive pricing structures. The transformation from community-centered restaurants to corporate-controlled operations has eliminated the local connections that originally made Applebee's locations feel integral to suburban social life. Franchise owners once invested in customizing locations to reflect community preferences, but standardization efforts have created uniform environments that feel sterile rather than welcoming. The sports bar elements compete awkwardly with family dining components, creating confused atmospheres that satisfy neither demographic effectively. Kitchen operations now rely heavily on microwave reheating and prepackaged components that arrive from central suppliers rather than being prepared fresh at individual locations. This shift has fundamentally altered taste profiles of signature dishes while creating preparation inconsistencies that vary between locations and shifts. The riblets have become smaller and less flavorful, while burgers taste mass-produced rather than individually crafted. Appetizers that once arrived sizzling and fresh now seem reheated and generic, competing directly with establishments that execute has been reduced to basic order taking. Rather similar concepts more effectively. Service training than the friendly neighborhood hospitality that once made servers feel like familiar community faces. Staff turnover reaches levels where most employees seem unfamiliar with menu details and unable to provide personalized service that might distinguish Applebee's from purely transactional dining experiences. The bar program that attracted after-work crowds has been simplified to generic offerings that fail to compete with establishments specializing in craft cocktails or extensive beer selections. Marketing campaigns focus on price promotions rather than food quality or service improvements, training customers to view Applebee's as a discount option rather than a preferred dining destination. Happy hour specials and limited-time offers create traffic spikes that strain understaffed kitchens and service teams, resulting in poor execution that damages brand perception among both promotional customers and regular diners. Store traffic continues declining as younger demographics gravitate toward fast casual concepts, offering fresher ingredients and more transparent preparation methods, while older customers who built loyalty during Applebee's peak years find themselves disappointed by experiences that no longer match their expectations. The neighborhood positioning feels increasingly hollow as locations close in suburban markets where the brand once thrived. Number 1. Ruby Tuesday. The casual dining chain that once anchored shopping centers across America has virtually disappeared from the restaurant landscape, leaving behind empty buildings and faded memories of reliable family dining experiences that defined weekend meals for multiple generations. What remains operates more like a museum preserving outdated dining concepts rather than vibrant restaurants serving contemporary customer needs. The famous salad bar that differentiated Ruby Tuesday from competitors and provided genuine value for health-conscious diners has been eliminated at most surviving locations, removing the primary feature that attracted regular customers and justified higher prices compared to fast casual alternatives. Without this signature element, Ruby Tuesday competes directly with establishments that execute similar menu items more efficiently and at lower cost points, eliminating any compelling reasons for customers to choose the increasingly rare locations. Menu simplification efforts have resulted in generic offerings that lack the distinctive character that once made Ruby Tuesday a deliberate dining choice rather than a convenience option. Corporate recipes have been reformulated multiple times to reduce costs, creating taste profiles that feel bland and institutional rather than appealing to families seeking enjoyable dining experiences. The burger preparations that once represented quality casual dining now taste frozen and mass-produced, while solid advance rather than created fresh for individual-led offerings seem assembled hours in orders. Physical facilities reflect years of deferred maintenance and reduced corporate investment in location updates. Dining rooms show obvious signs of wear with furniture that hasn't been replaced in decades, carpeting that appears stained and worn, and lighting fixtures that create dim, unwelcoming atmospheres. Kitchen equipment breakdowns affect food preparation quality, while HVAC systems frequently fail to maintain comfortable dining temperatures during peak seasons. Corporate communication has become virtually non-existent, with official websites displaying outdated information about locations that closed years ago, while social media presence remains minimal compared to competitors who have successfully adapted to digital marketing strategies. Customer service channels rarely respond to inquiries or complaints, creating impressions of a company that has abandoned any pretense of customer relationship management or brand development. The few remaining locations operate with skeleton crews that struggle to maintain basic service standards during even moderate busy periods. Servers appear overwhelmed by table assignments that exceed reasonable capacity, while kitchen staff work with equipment that seems poorly maintained and supplies that run out frequently. The casual upscale positioning that once worked effectively now feels overpriced and unnecessary, when customers can find better value and more reliable execution at competing establishments that have invested in facility updates and staff training programs. Location closures continue accelerating as lease agreements expire and franchise operators abandon unprofitable markets. Many longtime customers discover their preferred Ruby Tuesday locations have shuttered without advance notice, arriving at familiar shopping centers to find empty storefronts where family traditions once thrived. These restaurant chains represent more than failed business models. They mark the end of an era when dining out meant shared experiences that connected families and communities. Each closure erases another piece of the social fabric that once held neighborhoods together through birthdays, weekend dinners, and after-game celebrations. For years, the warning signs hid behind quiet shutdowns and corporate restructuring. Now the truth is visible in empty parking lots and darkened dining rooms where families once gathered. These weren't just restaurants. They were community hubs where milestones were celebrated and memories created. Independent eateries and new concepts may fill the physical spaces, but they can't replace the emotional connections forged through decades of familiar service and tradition. The survivors among these 9 chains face mounting pressures from rising costs, shifting diets, and digital-first competitors. Even profitable locations remain vulnerable to corporate decisions that favor short-term earnings over long-term loyalty. By 2026, the American dining landscape will look unrecognizable. Fewer familiar logos will light up suburban streets, replaced by vacant spaces and transitory concepts chasing trends. What's fading isn't just a set of brands, it's a shared cultural ritual that defined generations. The fall of these chains isn't simply economic, it's emotional. It reflects a deeper shift from community connection to transactional convenience. Once beloved gathering places are vanishing, leaving behind memories, nostalgia, and a lingering reminder of how fragile even the most familiar parts of everyday life can be when profit replaces purpose.